You know how you get when you're really stressed out physically and on an emotional level as well? Well, imagine that but being like 10 times worse because you're being criticized as well, and that's not really a good feeling. Well, welcome to motherhood because women on a daily basis who nurse have to deal with this, and I don't think it's right. According to Catherine Kim's article in Parenting Magazine, 59% of Americans don't believe in public breastfeeding and they disagree with it. So women are stared at and given rude remarks and comments, and in some cases they're forced to leave public areas such as restaurants and stores. And I don't think this is right and it shouldn't be tolerated. So in light of the many stories of women having to leave public areas, we as people should demand more family friendly policies inside of public areas such as shopping malls. Today, I'll be talking about where the U.S. stands on this subject, how it affects infants, and how we as future parents and as society itself should be concerned. So first off, let me clarify. When I say family-friendly policies, I mean that nursing mothers should be given particular accommodations like private areas to breastfeed in public. And that our country is improving on this. Many states, in the concept of breastfeeding, many states also have their own individual and unique policies as to how they treat breastfeeding within that state. And so, as stated within the National Conference of State Legislators, on their webpage, 49 U.S. states are allow women to breastfeed in public areas and private areas as well. But 29 of our states exempt breastfeeding from public indecency laws. So basically, women are allowed to breastfeed in public, but they're still at risk of being of violating public indecency. And I don't think this is right. It's like not fair at all. And so this issue also affects infants. Now let's consider how infants benefit from breastfeeding. They get the nutrients that they need from their mother. Um, According to the morbidity and mortality report, 80% of infants in the U.S. begin breastfeeding. However, by 6 months, just over half of these infants continue to breastfeed exclusively, and at the age of 6 months. And this is happening because, like, the rates are lowering because women don't feel comfortable breastfeeding in public areas. And let's just say, like, as a scenario, a woman goes into a shopping mall and with her 6 month old, and the baby starts crying like really, really loudly and just doesn't stop. So usually when a baby cries, we start panicking. So the woman goes into the family restroom and a man enters, and usually when a man enters, just like randomly, a woman's not gonna feel comfortable breastfeeding, like having her food out, just like feeding the baby. And so 9 times out of 10, that baby isn't gonna be fed. And I don't think this is fair to the child because why should the child have to suffer just because the mom feels uncomfortable in the situation? Finally, we focus on why we're concerned. Um, as our generation continues to have kids at younger ages, we should be concerned as future parents as to why and how we're going to provide nutrients for our kids in the future and within public areas. And no, I'm not just referring to women, I'm referring to men as well, because like the goal of a parent is to watch their child grow into healthy and smart human beings. And so let's say you're a husband and you see your wife struggling in a shopping mall and the child's just like crying and crying and the mom's trying to soothe it. So, but also the woman's getting criticized by other people. Like as that being your wife, you're not gonna feel good. You're gonna feel like really helpless and that it's unfair treatment, and you're gonna want to do something about it. And so that's why men should be concerned. And and then as a society, we should be concerned because as future generations, like the babies that are being produced now, they are making up our future generations. And so we want to live in a future where like everything's stable and like everything's gonna be all right. And so without like breastfeeding, all of that's not gonna happen. It's not okay. So the real question is, are we willing to produce change in order to have our future reap the benefits greatly of what we do now? And in conclusion, I hope that y'all agree with my statement that public breastfeeding in shopping malls should be given more greater policies and more consideration. And keep in mind that though the U.S. attempts to improve these laws, each state is going to have their own unique. Each state's going to have their own unique laws, so there's not going to be no unified concept. And the people that suffer the most are infants because they're not getting their proper nutrients. And by doing so, by malls discouraging breastfeeding, they're harming us as future parents and as a society because they're not allowing us to feed our babies at such a young age and receive that proper nutrient. But the upside is that at our age, we are able to make a change in society. And so we can provide a better future for ourselves by fighting it early and attacking this issue head on. Thank you.